So I'll read from line 272 to the end of the canto. Aware of forms to which our eyes are closed, conscious of nearnesses we cannot feel, the power within her shaped her molding sense in deeper figures than our surface types. An invisible sunlight ran within her veins and flooded her brain with heavenly brilliancies that woke a wider sight than earth could know. Outlined in the sincerity of that ray, her springing childlike thoughts were richly turned into luminous patterns of her soul's deep truth. And from her eyes she cast another look on all around her than man's ignorant view. All objects were to her shapes of living selves, and she perceived a message from her kin in each awakening touch of outward things. Each was a symbol power, a vivid flash in the circuit of infinities half known. Nothing was alien or inanimate, nothing without its meaning or its call. For with a greater nature she was one. As from the soil sprang glory of branch and flower, as from the animal's life rose thinking man, a new epiphany appeared in her, a mind of light, a life of rhythmic force, a body instinct with hidden divinity, prepared an image of the coming God. And when the slow rhyme of the expanding years and the rich, murmurous swarm work of the days had honey-packed her sense and filled her limbs, accomplishing the moon orb of her grace, self-guarded in the silence of her strength, her solitary greatness was not less. Nearer the Godhead to the surface pressed, a sun replacing childhood's nebula, sovereign in a blue and lonely sky. Upward it rose to grasp the human scene. The strong inhabitant turned to watch her field. A lovelier light assumed her spirit brow, and sweet and solemn grew her musing gaze. Celestial, human, deep, warm, slumbrous fires woke in the long fringed glory of her eyes, like altar burnings in a mysteried shrine. Out of those crystal windows gleamed a will that brought a large significance to life. Holding her forehead's candid, stainless space, behind the student arch, a noble power of wisdom looked from light on transient things. A scout of victory in a vigil tower, her aspiration called high destiny down. A silent warrior paced in her city of strength, inviolate, guarding truth's diamond throne. A nectarous, haloed moon, her passionate heart loved all and spoke no word and made no sign, but kept her bosom's rapturous secrecy, a blissful, ardent, moved and voiceless world. Proud, swift and joyful ran the wave of life within her like a stream in paradise. Many high gods dwelt in one beautiful home. Yet was her nature's orb a perfect whole, harmonious like a chant with many tones, immense and various like a universe. The body that held this greatness seemed almost an image made of heaven's transparent light. Its charm recalled things seen in visions ours. A golden bridge spanning a fairy flood, a moon-touched palm tree single by a lake, companion of the wide and glimmering peace. A murmur as of leaves in paradise, moving when feet of the immortals pass. A fiery halo over sleeping hills, a strange and starry head alone in night. So this passage continues the description we were reading last week of Savitri as she's growing up. Her her nature, her appearance.
Aware of forms to which our eyes are closed, conscious of nearnesses we cannot feel. The power within her shaped her molding sense in deeper figures than our surface types.
Yes. You remember in what we read last week, Sri Aurobindo compared this power that is inhabiting Savitri to the spirit which lives in the plant, the dryad which is there. And he said that all the perceptions that the tree has, it's because of that conscious spirit dwelling within it. And he says something similar, but in a greater height, a heavenlier height, is there in Savitri. There's a power, an inner inhabitant. No? So that inhabitant, that power within her, is aware of forms to which our eyes are closed. Our physical eyes can't see those forms. And that power within her is conscious of nearnesses, beings and forces close to her that we cannot feel. So that power shapes her, Savitri's, molding sense. Our senses, our sense perceptions shape the way that we experience the world around us. No? So Sri Aurobindo tells us in the Life Divine that matter, all these firm things that we feel around us, they are sense-created molds of spirit. Spirit is within, spirit is in us. It's in all these things, but we experience these forms through the molding effect of our senses, our sense perceptions. Because of that power which Savitri has in her, her senses respond in a different way than our gross physical senses respond. So she perceives deeper figures than our surface types. We just feel the surfaces of things. She's feeling things in a deeper and truer way. Nargis, would you read?
An invisible sunlight ran within her veins and flooded her brain with heavenly brilliancies that broke a wider sight than earth could know.
Yes. So just like that dryad feeling a supraphysical rain and wind, here an invisible sunlight is flowing all through Savitri's veins, the physical channels of the life in us, and they are filling her brain with heavenly brilliancies, a brighter light than we get from our sense perceptions. So this sight, this power of vision that she has, it is more than earth, more than material, physical bodies can know. Anjali, you read, please.
Outlined in the sincerity of that day, had spring childlike thought that it turned into humorous pattern of the soul deep truth. And from her eyes she crossed another door, all around her than plants would be.
Yes. So that ray, those heavenly brilliances that light up in her brain, outlines certain thoughts. That ray, it has sincerity, a quality of truth vision and truth perception and truth formation. So she's still a child. She has these childlike thoughts. They are springing, they spring up. Springing, of course, is two things. Plants spring up, but also young animals, very young animals. We see them leaping about in the fields. No? There's something youthful about this springing, coming with some youthful energy. So her thoughts are like that. But they're richly turned into luminous patterns of her soul's deep truth, her svabhava, her self-being, the thoughts that come because of this deeper, truer sense perception. These thoughts also become luminous patterns of her innate being. And so when she looks out at the world from her eyes, she casts another look, a different kind of looking on everything around her than the way that we ignorant human beings look at things. She sees things in a deeper, truer way. Bhavan?
All objects were to her shapes of living cells, and she perceived the message from her king, in each awakening touch of outward things.
So all objects were to her shapes of living cells. They are not just hard, material, unconscious objects. She saw some living presence in all of them. And each awakening touch of outward things, each physical contact from outside her own body, she noticed, she perceived, she was aware of a message from her kin. Your kin are the people that you are related to, connected to, the people in your family. No? So everything tells her of something familiar, close to her, closely connected with her. She feels closely connected with all around. Eve?
Each was a symbol power, a vivid flash in the circuit of infinities half known. Nothing was alien or naming. Nothing without its meaning or its call.
Yes, please.
Yes, a greater nature, she was one.
Yes, thank you. So all these outward things, each of these awakening touches, each is a symbol power. It means something. A symbol is a sign or a picture, a shape, which signifies something more than itself. No? A flag will be the symbol of a whole nation, a country. And we wear Mother's symbol or Aurobindo symbol. These are signs which indicate a much deeper, vaster meaning. So in the same way, all these objects and these touches of outward things, each of them is a symbol power. It brings a vivid flash, a flash of knowledge, of recognition, in the circuit of infinities, half known. It's as if all around her there are these limitless spaces which she half knows, and when there's a contact, then something lights up, a vivid flash. Nothing was alien. Nothing was foreign, strange, distant. And nothing was inanimate. We tend to think of a plastic chair as being inanimate. It doesn't have any life. We can't imagine that it has any consciousness. No? But to her it's not like that. Nothing that she comes into contact with is meaningless. All of them calls her, tells her something, communicates something to her. And this is because she is one in herself with a greater nature, not just this surface physical nature, with the deeper nature in which everything is one in the divine presence. Renana, you would read? Yeah?
As from of the soil spring the glory of branch and flower. As from animals' life rose thinking man, a new epiphany appeared in her.
Yes. So here he's connecting it with evolution. No, there was just earth, soil, but in evolution, out of the soil emerged these wonderful branches and flowers of the plant life and animal life. And out of the animal life has emerged thinking beings, thinking human beings. And now, out of this human form, a new epiphany appeared in her. Epiphany is a word, a Greek word, which is used in Christianity. It has a meaning similar to the meaning of darshan in Indian languages. It means the revelation, the showing, the obvious appearance of divinity. So this new epiphany, some new expression of the divine appeared in her. She's showing the new race that will come, the new kind of being. This could be seen in her. Shamala.
A mind of life, a life of rhythmic force, a body instinct with hidden divinity, prepared an image of the coming God.
Shall we pause there? Yes, we'll pause there. So the mind, life, body, that's what we seem to be made up of, no? In her case, this is a mind, not a mind of ignorance, a mind that's full of this light, the light of this invisible sunlight. No? And in her life, the prana is not like our normal limited prana. It's a life of rhythmic force. And the body itself is instinct with, it is alive with hidden divinity. So those three things together prepare an image of the divine being that will be the future of humanity, or the future highest species on earth. Francesca, would you read?
And when the slow rhyme of the expanding years, and the rich murmurous warm work of the days, had honey packed her sense and filled her wings, accomplishing the moon orb of her grace, self-guarded in the silence of her strength, her solitary greatness was not less.
So this is as she grows older, no? When the years pass and each year is wider than the year before, the years are expanding the circle of her experience. And he says this coming return of the seasons of the years, it's like a rhyme in a poem. You know, in a poem when we have words that echo the same sound. That's what we call a rhyme. So the years, it's like passing, and winter's coming again, spring is coming again, and it's like a rhyme, like a poem. And he says the days, he gives an image of the days as being like bees. Bees swarm, and the swarm of bees, they work, they collect pollen and honey. So the years are rhyming, expanding, widening, and the days, this rich, murmurous swarm work of the days, you know, the sound of the bees, this murmurous sound, had honey packed her sense, filled her, all her senses with sweetness, and filled her limbs. The body grows, it becomes mature. No? So together, the passing of time, the experiences, the body grows. All this together accomplishes the moon orb of her grace. To accomplish, it means to complete. And he had spoken about her when she was first born as a crescent moon, no? The first thin little moon that we see in the sky returning. But now this is the full orb, the full round, so the body has become mature. No? But through all that growing up period, still she is in a way alone. Her solitary greatness. Solitary, it means alone. She's within herself, in a way apart, self-guarded in the silence of her strength. That solitary greatness that's not like the people around her, that special quality that she has. Silence and strength, Sri Aurobindo has mentioned in a letter, are two of the qualities of Savitri. Would you like to read?
Nearer, the Godhead to the surface breast, a sun replacing childhood singular, sovereign in the blue and lonely sky.
So the Godhead, the divinity, the individual divinity within her, presses to the surface more, and instead of this cloud of divinity, a nebula is something cloudy, it doesn't have a definite form. It becomes a sun, a brilliant sun, and that sun is sovereign, it's really ruling in this blue, clear, cloudless sky. It's alone. The sun is always alone in the sky. As she matures, this is what happens. The the divinity in her becomes more distinct. At the back there, would you like to read?
Upward it rose to grasp the human scene. The strong inhabitant turned to watch her view.
Yes, so this sun rises up, and when it's at its height, it can see the whole human scene. No? And that strong inhabitant, that power, that spirit is within her, turned to look at the field where she has to do her work, the whole human world. Those of you who've been with us since the beginning, you'll remember that at the beginning of the poem in Canto 2, Aurobindo gave us a beautiful picture of Savitri, her spirit, her mind, her will, her heart, her movement, her body, her smile, and the way that her atmosphere. So here we have a shorter but also very, very beautiful description of Savitri's appearance. Mahalingam, would you read? Yeah?
The lovelier light assumed her spirit broad, and sweet and solemn grew her musing gaze. Celestial human, deep, warm, slumberous fire, woke in the long, full glory of her eyes, like altar burning in a mystery shrine.
So, as she develops, as she grows, her brow, this is your brow, and your brow somehow is supposed to express what is within you, your destiny and your true nature gets expressed in the brow. So he says that her brow, it's a spirit brow, there's something very spiritual and pure about it, and it takes on a lovelier light. It must have been beautiful when she was a small child, but it becomes even more beautiful as she grows older. And her gaze, the way that her eyes look out on the world, becomes sweet and solemn, something serious about the way that she looks at the world. Her musing gaze, as if she is seeing or thinking deep things. And then the beauty of her eyes, the long fringed glory of her eyes. She's got beautiful long eyelashes, and maybe the eyes themselves are long. And the fires wake up in those eyes, like altar burnings. What burns on the altar is a sacrifice, an offering to the gods, in this shrine that's full of mystery and strange wonder. And these fires, they are celestial, they are heavenly, but they are also human. And they are deep and warm and slumberous, somehow sleepy. It goes with this musing, that there's something deep behind these fires. Ganga Lakshmi?
Out of those crystal windows gleam the window, that brought love intense light.
So that's the next thing, the will, here, between, will, full stop, here.
Okay.
So the crystal windows are, of course, the eyes, The eyes are like the windows of the soul. we can look in and the soul can look out. And crystal means very, very clear. There's no impurity or obscurity there. They are absolutely clear. So through them gleams a will. And that will of Savitri brings a large significance to life. It's not just concerned with little petty things in the environment concerning her directly. She sees things in a much larger way, and her will embraces much larger aims. Vera?
Holding her forehead's candid stainless face, behind the student arch, a noble power of wisdom from light and transient things.
So this is again the brow, the forehead. He says this space here is candid, it's open, it's not hiding anything, but it's also stainless, absolutely pure. And behind it, there is, behind this student arch, we talk about high brows and low brows, no? People who have higher brows, higher foreheads, are supposed to be more suited for intellectual pursuits. So she must have a beautiful arch here. Behind with the physical form, there's a power of wisdom, which is looking out from light, not from ignorance, not from darkness, from light on all these things around, transient things. I was just trying to explain it, that you have a student arch, you have a nice high forehead that shows that you're a person who has dedicated your life to intellectual pursuits. Yeah? You've been a student, a learner, a thinker. So, but there's two other functions of the will that he mentions. This is the wisdom part of it. Joel, it's your turn, I think.
A scout of victory in a vigil tower, her aspiration called high destiny down, a silent warrior based in her city of strength, inviolate, guarding truth's diamond throne.
Yes. So aspiration is also a function of the will, no? And we had a painting here with this flame of aspiration going up. Yeah? So this aspiration of Savitri's, it's calling high destiny down, some great mission she has to fulfill. That's that flame of will, of aspiration. It's a scout of victory. A scout is somebody who's always on the lookout. No? A guardian. This is a scout. He's looking out for victory, or he's a victorious scout in a vigil tower. A vigil is when you don't sleep. When you're sleepless, you stay awake. So there's a special tower for the will, where it keeps vigil, it keeps on watch. Nothing should go wrong. And at the same time, there's a silent warrior. Mother has spoken about this, how she always felt that she had a warrior with her. A silent warrior is pacing, marching up and down in her city of strength. Her whole being is like a citadel, a fort of strength. But that silent warrior is pacing up and down, guarding the diamond throne of truth. No falsehood, nothing harmful can come in. No? So her city of strength is inviolate. Nothing can break in, nothing can attack it. And then the heart. Suresh, you like to read?
Yet Matthew's gold moon has passionate heart. Love all underscore, all word and mad no sin. But yet bosoms refuse
Secrecy.
secrecy, yeah, peaceful, ardent mood, and voiceless earth.
Yes. So a moon, her heart is full like a full moon, and it's nectarous, it's full of sweetness. Nectar is what the honey, what the bees collect from the flowers. No? And that moon has a halo around it. There's something very, very beautiful about the moon when it has this silver haloed moon. No? So her heart is passionate. She's calm, but still she has a lot of intensity. She loves everyone and everything, but she's not throwing that out in expression. She speaks no word. She's silent. She makes no sign. She has this power of holding everything within herself. The heart keeps to it, remains within this secrecy of her bosom. Here's your bosom. Rapturous, it's full of delight, of ecstasy even. So this area of her being is blissful, full of bliss, ardent, passionate, intense. It's moved, it loves, and at the same time it's voiceless. Moved, it feels deep emotion, but it keeps all that quietly, silently within itself. And then the life force. Would you read? Yes.
Proud, sweet, and joyful ran the way of life. Within the life stream in paradise.
Yes, this is the life force, flowing like a stream. Proud, it's full of energy, high, flowing, swift, and joyful. Sometimes we can feel when the river moves fast that it's full of delight, no? This is the wave of life in her, like a stream in paradise. Yuli.
Many high gods dwelt in one beautiful home, yet was her nature's own perfect whole, harmonious like a chain with many tongues, immense and various like a universe.
So in Savitri, many high gods, many high divine powers are living together in one beautiful home. And they're absolutely harmonious. This orb, this perfect sphere of her nature is a perfect whole, like our crystal in the Matrimandir. It's harmonious, like a chant, a song, a sacred song with many different voices, many different notes, and yet all in harmony. And at the same time, it's immense, it's vast and various. It has so many different powers and possibilities within it, like a whole universe in her nature. And then last, he describes the body. Prema?
things.
No, seemed almost.
An image made of heaven's transparent light.
Yes. So this body, that's holding all this greatness, this complex, rich, pure, powerful, passionate nature, the body that held all this greatness, seems almost as if it's just an image of light, as if it's not made of earthly substance at all. Heaven's transparent light, clear, bright light. And then he mentions several images for the charm, the beauty of this body. Martin.
Its charm recalled things seen in visions ours. A golden bridge spanning a fairy flood. A moon-touched palm tree singled by a lake. Companion of the wide and glimmering peace. A murmur as of leaves in paradise, moving when feet of the immortals pass. A fiery halo over sleeping hills. A strange and starry head alone in night.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images for the charm of Savitri's body. A golden bridge across a magical river, a fairy flood. He says these things, images seen in visions hours, when we are seeing things in another world, not in this physical world. No? These are things seen in the inner worlds. So a golden bridge across a magic river. A palm tree, moonlight shining on it, the palm tree single by a lake, and that lake is a wide and glimmering peace. So the two things go together, the grace of the palm tree lit by the moon, and then this lake of wide and glimmering, the moving light on the moonlit lake. So peaceful. Then the charm of a sound, a murmur as of leaves in paradise, moving when feet of the immortals pass. When the divine beings pass through those subtle forests, and the trees murmur, they make a sound in response. No? And then we could say at evening perhaps, or with sunset, the hills are already dark and sleeping, but there's a fiery halo, a glow of intense light above the hills. And in the sky itself, as if he's seeing a head lit up with stars, a strange and starry head, alone in night. Aware of forms to which our eyes are closed, conscious of nearnesses we cannot feel. The power within her shaped her moulding sense in deeper figures than our surface types. An invisible sunlight ran within her veins and flooded her brain with heavenly brilliances that woke a wider sight than earth could know. Outlined in the sincerity of that ray, Her springing childlike thoughts were richly turned into luminous patterns of her soul's deep truth. And from her eyes she cast another look on all around her than man's ignorant view. All objects were to her shapes of living selves, and she perceived a message from her kin in each awakening touch of outward things. Each was a symbol power, a vivid flash in the circuit of infinities half known. Nothing was alien or inanimate, nothing without its meaning or its call. For with a greater nature she was one. As from the soil sprang glory of branch and flower, as from the animal's life rose thinking man, a new epiphany appeared in her. A mind of light, a life of rhythmic force, a body instinct with hidden divinity, prepared an image of the coming God. And when the slow rhyme of the expanding years and the rich murmurous swarm work of the days had honey-packed her sense and filled her limbs, accomplishing the moon orb of her grace, self-guarded in the silence of her strength, her solitary greatness was not less. Nearer the Godhead to the surface pressed, a sun replacing childhood's nebula, sovereign in a blue and lonely sky. Upward it rose to grasp the human scene. The strong inhabitant turned to watch her field. A lovelier light assumed her spirit brow, and sweet and solemn grew her musing gaze. Celestial, human, deep, warm, slumbrous fires woke in the long-fringed glory of her eyes, like altar burnings in a mysteried shrine. Out of those crystal windows gleamed a will that brought a large significance to life. Holding her forehead's candid, stainless space, behind the student arch, a noble power of wisdom looked from light on transient things. A scout of victory in a vigil tower, her aspiration called high destiny down. A silent warrior paced in her city of strength, inviolate, guarding truth's diamond throne. A nectarous haloed moon, her passionate heart loved all, and spoke no word and made no sign but kept her bosom's rapturous secrecy, a blissful, ardent, moved and voiceless world. Proud, swift and joyful ran the wave of life within her like a stream in paradise. Many high gods dwelt in one beautiful home, yet was her nature's orb a perfect whole, harmonious like a chant with many tones, immense and various like a universe. The body that held this greatness seemed almost an image made of heaven's transparent light. Its charm recalled things seen in visions ours. A golden bridge spanning a fairy flood, a moon-touched palm tree single by a lake, companion of the wide and glimmering peace. A murmur as of leaves in paradise moving when feet of the immortals pass. A fiery halo over sleeping hills. Her strange and starry head alone in